Good morning, students. I hope yesterday you have done that homework and have you learned it, I think. So now we are going to start a maths subtraction without borrowing, continuing the lesson. So I am going to start today arrange vertically and subtract. So first 674 minus 272. So look here, students. First we have to arrange this in vertically. So we have to write here H T U. So 6, 7, 4 minus 272. So look here, I have written here HTU means 100 tens units. So you have to arrange this in vertical columns. While subtracting, first we begin with unit. So 4 unit minus 2 units we get 2. In 10 columns, 7 minus 7, how many students we get? 0. So in 100 columns, 600 minus 200, we get 400. So that is 400, 0 tens, 2 units. The answer is 402. Now second, 772 minus 341. Same way, first we have to write here HTU. That is 100 tens units. And you have to arrange this in vertically. So 772 minus 341. So in 100 columns I have written 7, in 10 columns I have written 7, in unit columns I have written 2. So minus in 100 columns and I have written 3, in 10 columns I have written 4, in unit columns I have written 1. So let's begin with unit columns. So 2 minus 1, can you tell me anybody? So 2 minus 1 we get 1. So 7 minus 4, how many we get? 3. And in 100 columns, 7 minus 3, again we get 4. So 400, 3 tens, 1 units. Your answer is 431. Next example. $819 minus 351. So first we have to arrange in vertical columns. So we have to write here HTU, that is 100 tens units. So in 100 columns we have to write here 8, in 10 columns we have to write 9, and in unit columns you have to write 1. So minus, so under this we have to write in 100 columns we have to write 3, in tens column you have to write 5, and in unit columns you have to write 1. So let's begin with unit columns. In 1 unit minus 1 unit we get 0. In 10 columns, 9 minus 9, 10 minus 5, how we get 4. In 100 columns, 800 minus 300, we get 5. So next example, 771 minus 660. So arrange in vertical column. So write here 100 tens unit. So in 100 columns I am going to write here 7. 10 columns I am going to write 7. In unit column I am going to write here 1. So minus sign. So again I am going to write here in 100 column 6, in 10 column 6, and in unit column 0, that is 660. So in unit columns, now students tell me 1 unit minus 0 unit, how many we get? 1. So in 10 columns, 7 tens minus 6 tens, we get 1. In 100 columns, 700 minus 600, also we get 1. So 100, 1 tens, 1 units, that is 111. So next example. $953 minus $353. So arrange this in vertical columns. So we are going to write here 100 tens unit. First, in 100 columns I am going to write here 9. In 10 columns I am going to write 5. In unit columns I am going to write 3. So minus, again I am going to write in 100 columns 3. In 10 columns I am going to write 5. In unit columns I am going to write 3. So let's see what the answer is we get. So in unit columns 3 units minus 3 units we get 0. Then in 10 columns 5 tens minus 5 tens we get 0. In 100 columns 900 minus 300 we get 6. So 600, 0 tens, 0 units, that is 600. Your answer is 600. So next example. $765 minus $562. So student, arrange these in vertical columns. So write here HTU, 100 tens units. So 765. So we have to write here in 100 columns we have to write 7. In 10 columns we have to write 6. In unit columns you have to write 5. So subtraction signs minus, then 562. So in 100 columns you have to write 5. In 10 columns you have to write 6. And in unit columns you have to write 2. So now we'll begin with unit columns. In unit columns 5 unit minus 2 units we get 3 units. In 10 columns 6 tens minus 6 we get 0. In 100 columns 700 minus 5 we get 2. So that is 200, 0 tens, 3 units. Your answer is 203. So let's see next example. Same way you have to solve this. So 123 minus 112. So first we arrange this in vertically. So write here 100 tens unit. So in 100 columns I am going to write 1. In 10 columns I am going to write 2. In unit columns I am going to write 3. So minus 112. Same way in 100 columns I am going to write 1. And in 10 columns again I am going to write 1. And in unit columns I am going to write 2. So So first we begin with unit columns. So 3 units minus 2 units, we get 1. So can anybody tell me, in 10 columns 2 minus 1, how many we get? 1. In 100 columns 100 minus 100, we get 0. That is 0, 100, 1 tenths, 1 units. Your answer is 11. Now next example. 234 minus 222. Same method. First we write here HTU, that is 100 tens units. First we will write here in 100 columns 2. In 10 columns we have to write 3. In unit columns we have to write 4. Then again minus. Same way, in 100 columns we have to write 2. In 10 columns I am going to write 2. In unit columns I am going to write 2. Now let's begin with unit columns. 4 units minus 2 units, we get 2. In 10 columns 3 tens minus 2 tens, we get 1. And in 100 columns 200 minus 200, we get 0. Next example. So we write here 479 minus 469. So student, you should tell me now. First we have to arrange this in vertical columns. So we have to write here HTU, that is 100 tens units. So draw this line. So now we will write here 479 minus 469. So in 100 columns I am going to write again 4. In 10 columns I am going to write 7. In unit columns I am going to write 9. So minus, again in 100 columns I am going to write 4. In 10 columns I am going to write 6. In unit columns I am going to write 9. Now we begin with unit columns. 9 units minus 9, we get 0. In 10 columns 7 tens minus 6. So 7 minus 6, we get 1. In 100 columns 400 minus 4, we get 0. Means 0, 100, 1 tens, 0 units. So your answer is 10. Now next example. 787 minus 343. So look here. First we arrange in vertical columns. So write here HTU. So in again 100 columns we have to write 7. In 10 columns 8. In unit columns we have to write 7. So minus, again in 100 columns I am going to write here 3. In 10 columns I am going to write 4. And in unit columns I am going to write here 3. So anybody stand up and tell me the answer. So 7 unit minus 3 unit, how many we get? 4. So in 10 columns 8 minus 4, we get 4 tenths. Again in 100 columns 700 minus 300, we get here 4. So 400, 4 tenths, 4 units, that is 444. So your answer is 444. I hope I have solved these 10 examples. So students, I knew that all of them who understood this. So solve this exercise in your notebook. Thank you.